Greetings, greetings. I'm not gonna go into it, but my last live, an 850 score, a half hour of that was cut. I did not post 4 minutes and 50 seconds. I posted 34 minutes. So it is what it is, okay? I try not to go too crazy with this one. But today, we're talking about Phidippus, Audax, how the perspective of Phidippus Audax has changed. And we can probably thank human beings, specifically women, for that. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of a brief history on my own time with Phidippus. So in previous live streams, I had mentioned giant Asian forest scorpions and how I had direct dealings with that species before it was even introduced to the trade, right? I actually did a paper on, I did a paper and a presentation. First and foremost, I did a science project on tarantulas, namely the Texas brown, when I was in grade school. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I was in the 3rd grade. Now, years later, I actually did a presentation on Phidippus audax. I was in school. So this is way before the web craze on this spider species. So I'm going to generalize women a bit here, not in any negative way, but this is actually positive, and women have a lot of influence on why this has taken off. See, and this is the reason I'm going to generalize women, because, and of course there's going to be exceptions, right? Not every woman is going to be thrust into this categorization, but when it comes down to it, when I was making the presentation on this species when I was younger, I was so excited because, like, I wanted to tell everyone about this, you know? And at the time, I'm pretty sure most women and most people in general were averse to this, because it's like, it's a spider, you know? So it's like gross, right? Like, you'd be like, why would I want to know about a spider? But I thought this was the coolest spider because, to me, it was like a little monkey, you know? Like, it was vibrant, it was curious, it was daring, and it was a hunter, you know? To me, it was like a little savage. To me, this is like, I was into cats before it became like such a huge thing. Because a lot of people, and there are correlations women-wise between this spider and cats, how I see it. Because before being a cat lady was a thing, it was also the same, and before Phidippus actually became a thing, because that's, both of that is like female oriented, you know? To me, cats were like serious, wild, like carnivorous hunters, you know? And this species, Phidippus, because its vision was so great, it could literally like hunt anything, you know, because most spiders, if not blind, their vision is not so great. So everything is off a touch. It's almost like a blind person who's got like a stick in front of them and they're like doing this, right? But that's what they do with their legs and webbing, right? But not Phidippus. Phidippus is like moving around, watching everything, like a dragonfly, right? So to me, that was so cool at the time because it was like, this thing actually looks like it's more intelligent. Like, it's actually thinking because, like, to me, I associate intelligence with its vision, right? So its way of perceiving the world is how it embodies its curiosity. So to me, let me get to the point, Big Toe. Name checks out. So the perception has changed over time when it comes to this spider. For me, it was like cats are serious hunters, you know, and you should bring out their wild instincts, right? And Phidippus, the species, is a wild hunter. Like, no, it's not. It's definitely not. But I get that because people, you know, mention that. They ask me if it's real, Matt. And I could see this spider seeing other spiders. And what was interesting is this spider would actually hunt other spiders, kind of like how king cobras do. King cobras don't eat rodents like Indian cobras, African cobras, etc. They eat rodents, right? But king cobras eat other snakes. So to me, it was like, that's how I looked at Phidippus, and that's how I looked at cats. I wasn't thinking about cats like, oh, you feed them, you know, dry food and wet food. No, I look at cats like, bring out their wild instincts. And I looked at Phidippus as like, look at it like it's a apex predator. And that's how I looked at king cobras, right? Which, by the way, I had all three. So when I'm totally sober, by the way. So when I look at the perception over, and this is where like the categorization of feminine energy comes in, because over time, the same thing I saw in Phidippus, female energy had brought me looking at Phidippus as an apex predator. They looked at it as, it's not a bad thing. They looked at it as cute. And they looked at it as adorable. And they looked at it as, this is like, you know, like they cry when it dies. You know, like this species, and that's, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, this species will only live for like 8 months, like praying mantises, right? So how women have brought, I'm just on the road, so I'm just concentrating. How women have brought this species to the forefront, I think has a lot to do, because when I was trying to tell stories about Phidippus, it didn't catch on. Not that I was like a spokesperson for Phidippus or for cats or anything like that. It was just the fact that for me, I was telling stories about how much of an apex predator this species was, right? But when women brought it to the forefront, it caught fire. Why? Because women have glamorized how cute, how beautiful, how fuzzy, how interesting, in like an adorable way, this species is. And other cousin species, because you have Phidippus audax, which is like the northeastern species. By the way, the family is Phidippus, right? So the species is the second name, and this is the scientific name, right? So you have audax, you have regius of the south. So when you go towards like the southeast, that would be like Florida, mainly in that area. I would say Mississippi, Alabama, maybe southern Georgia. That would be regius, right? So that's slightly larger. The males are exactly the same in color, but their legs are a little bit longer. And the females, you have the bright orange species, and you have there's like a slight color variant, but over here in the Northeast, the females and the males are the same color. They're like a zebra color, black and white, right? Regius is slightly larger, which you would expect from tropical species. But my whole point is the perception of this species has changed ever since women got a stronghold on it, and then it took off. So I could imagine in the trade, there's more demand for this species, and the price on this species must have gone up. Like, to captive breed this species has probably gone up as well, you know? And that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, I still look at the species as an apex predator and an incredible hunter, but women tend to look at and not all women, I'm just saying in general, women tend to look at this species like an adorable companion, you know? And it is what it is. It's the same thing with cats. Women tend to look at cats like, you know, you hug them, they come near you when they want to, and, you know, you spend cuddly time with them. Whereas I look at them like these are predators, you know? I'm talking about domestic cats. I'm not talking about big cats. And it just shows like the differences between like how we kind of think, you know? And again, not all women and not all men. I'm just saying, in general, there are differences here. And I just thought it was interesting to bring up. Let me just get to some of these comments. Things about things that your mom's a pure power. Mom can bring order to house. For sure, Conrad. I totally agree with you there. And, you know, sometimes when people don't understand certain things, or it's like you want to be quick to, and this is fine too, because everyone has their prerogative on whatever their opinions are. Every time a person wants to go quick to saying jokes, that's fine. Like you want to, you know, you want to say I'm not sober, I'm on something, acid, whatever, that's fine. But if you know what I'm talking about, then you would know that this is serious, you know? And it is a deep subject to delve into. That's why I brought it up on the live today, because it's like the difference between men and women in regard to this. Again, not all women and not all men, but it's very intriguing to me because how I saw it was like, this is an incredible, you know, predatorial species, and women saw it as like, this is an adorable and colorful species. And hold on a second. Yeah, I can still get that from. Yeah, I can still get one of those sativas from yesterday. Yeah. I think it was the non-keef sativa. Cause I was no it was the non-keef sativa.
No, I know. No keep this one.
Yeah.
I got you. You want one?
Yeah, just one.
Gotcha.
Still got that lighter from yesterday.
No problem.
You
Huh?
seem tired, man.
Nah, about to go to the gym.
Oh, where's the gym at?
LA Fitness.
Okay. I got one at Blink. I gotta wait till 5, I think.
Yeah. Tap over here.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, brother. Take care.
Okay.
You too. So honestly, that's really it. I do think it was an important topic to bring up, and I saw the differences. I think the perception has changed, and women have definitely brought this species to the forefront. And bravo, bravo for female power, because you all have done something with an entire species. Not only for Aubrey, you not only have done that for Phidippus, for not just Audax and Regius, but like all the different variants, but you've done it with cats. Because I remember a time when cats were being persecuted, you know? Like out in the streets, here in the Bronx, Yonkers, there was a time, I was never down with this, right? But there was a time when dudes with Timberlands on would kick cats, you know? Literally like like get a cat to like come near, like to trust, and then punt it with boots on, you know? But now I think the power of women have got have you all have made cats rise up so prominently in this country that now it's like you can't even think like that to one of those creatures. And we have a lot of stray cats out here. Like if you were to do that, which was like there were a lot of dudes that would do that before, you would probably you go to jail. Like if someone caught you, because it was kind of like out in the open before, because like there was way more robberies out here. Like there was a lot more stick-up kids out here in the culture, right? Like why? Because it was like one of those things like you just rob people easily out here, right? Same thing with the cats. It's like you could easily just go to a cat and just be real foul to a cat, right? Like you violated that cat. And it was like I'm not gonna say accepted, but it was somewhat common, you know? So now, because women have brought this entire pet to like even the feral cats that are out here, you've gotten this cat thing to like to a dog level, You've gotten it to where cats are up there with dogs. So it's like you cannot violate a cat right now because you will get violated, you know? And not just go to jail, but anyone that sees you will see you as like there's some things out here that it's still shared in not just the US but throughout the world. Like people litter, for example, right? It's still looked at like you could litter and it's like, oh well, that's common, But there will be a time when littering is going to be looked at like probably how it is in Singapore. Like it's against culture. And that's what happened with cats. So the same thing happened with praying mantises many years ago. There was a time when nobody cared about praying mantises. And then it overtook culture where it was like, you can't harm a praying mantis. Just like you can't now harm a cat. Just like you can't harm Phidippus. And that's how the perspective has changed. You know, and that's what this whole live stream is about. So call me twisted, call me messed up. Yeah, I'm on acid, right? But you see the point now, right? Yeah, it took me a little time to get to it, but that's the whole point. I had to bring everything together. But that is what this is all about. And I think, again, it's a beautiful thing how women have shown their power, like usual. And that's really it. I hope you all are having a great day. I don't know what time it is where you're at. It's a little past 1 o'clock in the morning over here. And, you know, with everything being said, I love all these species. You know, I love cats. I love not just Phidippus, I love all spiders. And not just praying mantises or king cobras. I love all of these creatures, you know? Maybe not mosquitoes at the top of my list, and maybe not roaches at the top of my list, but almost every species. And the only reason I'm not fond of roaches and mosquitoes is because they bother me. You know, like mosquitoes, for example, they come right at you to take your blood. Not cool. If you would just leave me alone, and me especially, right? My blood type, because I did a little research on this. It's like dependent on your diet. Because you could be in a place, this happens to me many a time. You could be in a place where they will avoid a whole bunch of different people, but they will go for one person. So, like I've been in certain places, like with my female cousins, and they didn't get bit up at all. And my whole body was covered with bites, which for whatever reason was amusing to them. But it has to do with like my eating habits, my blood type, my enzymes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And roaches, you mentioned, Aubrey, like they are, just like mice in the house. You know, that's another good thing about cats. They will prevent a lot of mice and rats from infestation, right? Or like if you live in the South, you know, and you probably have bigger roaches out there. Rats, roaches, yeah, they do multiply like crazy, you know? And it's like flies, for example, you know? It's like they are bothersome because they spend time in nasty places. I mean, they don't know any better, right? But at the same time, it's like you're going into disgusting places and then you go into our food, which is nasty. You don't know what you're doing, but it's nasty. So this is why we are repulsed, you know? So it's one of those things. Like I said, I have love for pretty much all species, but there's certain species that just, fruit flies don't do that. You know, for the most part, fruit flies don't do that. You know, I see fruit flies around, I'm not really bothered. But flies, I see a dragonfly, I'm not bothered. It's one of those things, you know, we just know what it is. So How you go from Atlanta to New Jersey, Aubrey? James? Musica? So that's, you're a traveled person. I see that, you know. But yeah, I'm out here in the BX. I hope this, cause like just like that, you know, a quick, almost half hour has passed. Like I said, the last live I did on an 850 score, right? I did a half hour live like this and it only posted 4 minutes. It's tight. Cause think about it, right? Right in the beginning, people want to come in like, yo, what are you on? What are you smoking? You on acid? You tripping? You bugging? This, that. And then I get to the point, I sum it all, and it's like, okay, he's just breaking all of this down, right? Totally sober. With the 850 score live stream, I went into detail. I broke that thing down. And you only post 4 minutes of it? Yeah, sugar is definitely a drug if you think about it, you know? But it's very accepted around the world. It's not looked at like it's a drug. And it's legal, so it doesn't get the same treatment as far as like negative connotations, you know? Guarantee you the same people who were saying publicly, because they think it's funny, that I'm on something, they're not gonna talk about the sugar that they're on every single day. But that's neither here nor there, right? That's a totally different topic. But like I said, I hope this live stream actually posts all 27 minutes and change. That's really it. You know, I just wanted to look. Oops. Yeah, out here. Webster. I was just on Fordham Road here in the Bronx. You know? Just riding out here. I hope all of this posts because they did me dirty with that 850 live stream. I'm telling you, I went into detail. What are you laughing at, Aubrey? You want to go to Kingsbridge? Look, I'm taking requests. Like hop in the whip, you know? You want to go to Kingsbridge? Let's go to Kingsbridge. Let's make a U-turn right here. We'll go to Kingsbridge. Of course you did. You get around, right? Of course you lived in the BX. So we'll go to Kingsbridge. Bring it back, right? Some memories. I don't know why this is not like. Oh, that person just got a ticket. Because those cameras just flashed. Veterans Hospital. Yeah. I hope this is. I hope this camera stays where it's at put, but we'll find out. You know, there's no major potholes right here, so it should be okay. We're gonna make a right here on Fordham. Okay, cool. One Fordham Plaza to our left, Fordham University. And yeah, you know, sober is great. Being sober is great. Not everyone around here is sober, but that's okay too. Okay. We're on Fordham now. Let's take it to Kingsbridge, because that's the request. And again, if anyone wants to see the Bronx, since we're in the Bronx, if you have any other requests, like you want to see a specific area of the Bronx, I swear to you, I'll take it there. Right here, live on this stream. We'll take it wherever you want to take it. I'll take it to Hunts Point right now. We're on Kingsbridge, by the way. I'll take it to Soundview. I'll take it to 3rd Ave. I'll take it to East Tremont. Like, come on, where are we going? You know? Ooh, the Hamptons. How we go from Atlanta to New Jersey to the BX to the Hamptons? That's amazing. Well, that's definitely a nice area for sure. That is, of course you're in Connecticut. Of course. Listen, I'll take it to Danbury right now. I might just take it to Hartford right now. Think I won't. And I'm not just talking about Brewster neither. I will go deep into Connecticut. Just cause. Yeah, we're and the Grand Concourse is right around here. I make a left here, I'd be on the concourse, you know. But I think I'm just gonna make a right, go back to Webster. You know, 194th. It's so bright here on 194th. Look, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning. Aubrey, you would know, because yeah, exactly, Valentine's. We're on Briggs right now, 194th. You would know, because you're on the East Coast. So what are you doing up at 2 o'clock in the morning, though? You know, because it is definitely 2 o'clock in the morning where you're at. It's not like someone from, I don't know, Germany. Oh, okay. That's the Musica part. What do you got? Like, you got Logic, Pro Tools, Ableton? What do you use? Damn, this store is bright. All these delis out here got like the brightest. But I mean, that's kind of like how everything has evolved. It's like such bright lights. That's why the culture is different now. Like the crime is different. Everything is different. Like I was talking about the stick up kids. It's not the same like it once was. Okay. So what do you use to record your vocals? Quiet night. It's actually pretty chilly, like yesterday. I think one of these nights, because it's 50 degrees right now, it's, I think, dipping down into the 40s, but it's about to go down into the 30s later on this week. First time it's gone down into the 30s in a while. Oh, Fruity Loops. Okay, cool. Yeah, super cold, right? Fruity Loops. I've used Fruity Loops before as well as Acid Pro. I think I've used most of these DAWs, software-wise. So that's cool, you know. Yeah, there hasn't been much snow in quite some time, you know. It's less than usual. Like, if you were still in Atlanta, then it's practically like no snow nowadays. But here in the like in the Bronx, it only snows like maybe a handful of times, right? Like 3, 4 times a year nowadays. And like maybe 1 or 2 times where it's like somewhat significant. But for the most part, it doesn't even snow anymore, you know? But Connecticut, I'm sure, is a little different. Yeah, yeah. Uh, some time ago, it was definitely snowing a lot more for sure. But now it's a different thing. Yeah, the only time it's cold in Atlanta would be like in the coldest months of sometime in January at night, you know, for like maybe a few days, but that's really it. Yeah, I'm sure the South has definitely a lot more, you know, of course you had to just stop right here, my guy or my gal. Oh wow, that must have been way scarier than mosquitoes, you know? Yeah, NYC is like, I'm telling you, like, this is that time though, you know? It's not like this at like 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. But once it gets to like near 2:30 to 3:30, which it is right around now, it gets really quiet. You know, you literally have to go to like Third Ave or like specific blocks to where it's live like at all hours. But for the most part here in the Bronx, at this time, 2:30 to 3:30, it's quiet time, you know? Yo, you're crazy with this. Like, I'm gonna go to the Hamptons, I'm gonna go to New York, I'm gonna go to New York City, I'm gonna go to Florida, I'm gonna go to Atlanta, I'm gonna go to Connecticut, I'm gonna go. That is nuts. I mean, they can't ever say you are not well traveled. That's for sure. Like you could tell stories about, yeah, that um, I believe it. Look, if you have experience in all those places, then I believe it. It was already written right here on this live stream. Aubrey James Musica says 2028, the Hamptons. It's a done deal. Yeah, I mean, you know, never say never. There might be something different after some time in New York that may come up where you're like, you know what? I want to spend a little bit of time in the Bahamas or wherever. So who knows? Who knows what will change? But I'm sure, you know, it's definitely going to be warm and you know what comes with the tropics, all types of potential storms and a lot of wildlife. That's for sure. I believe it. I believe it. You're probably going to be singing your heart out there as well, you know? Make way for the Queen of the Hamptons, 2028. She's coming with a vengeance. I already know. Like, if you have experience in all those places, it's pretty much already a done deal. You know? So I already know. It's gonna be a few hours and I'm gonna go to the gym. I gotta get arms in, you know, and I finished my week. I did everything. Started with legs, did back, did chest, did shoulders, and next is arms. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, that's awesome. You know, there's definitely a convenience to driving over taking public for sure. So It's a beautiful thing, especially in a place like the Hamptons. Yeah, I gotta. Ever since I started working, this is my first week back. I've been doing calisthenics, but I just started weights, and you know, I have a pair of dumbbells at home, so I was doing a little bit of dumbbell work at home before that, but I just started working out in the gym last week, like really, you know, and there's a profound difference, you know. Oh, I feel you. Yeah. And I'm trying to incorporate not just full range of motion, but like flexibility and breathing as well, so that I can maximize everything, you know? So the resistance has helped me because now I feel stronger. Like my legs are feeling stronger, my body is sore, which is good, and I can't wait to fill out a little bit, because I probably have to put on like 6 or 8 pounds of some lean muscle mass. And along with 6 to 8 pounds will come like an additional maybe 5, 7 pounds of water and a tiny bit of fat. So it'll probably be like 15 pounds after it's all said and done, which is good, you know. But having strong bones, strong muscles, and feeling confident is important, So filling out is good too, because I'm already defined. So a little bit of size, like someone wants to make comments on, it's usually like overweight people that want to comment on me being 95 pounds. I'm actually 78, so get it right, But it's usually people like someone who's like really at high levels generally wouldn't say something like that, It's like, okay, let me guess. You're overweight and you think you're muscular, so you want to call me 95 pounds. Or you're juiced to the gills, taking whatever anabolic you're taking, and you want to front like you're natural, and you're just so brolic out here. Come on now. There's no need for all that. But yeah, I never really got into sea moss. I don't know. I've never really tried it. The reason why is like maybe I could find it in Whole Foods, but the reason why is like the drinks, unless it's just sea moss by itself. This is Gun Hill, by the way, East Gun Hill and Jerome. But yeah, exactly. If I take sea moss by itself from like Amazon, I would take it just to see what happens, Because I've taken for, periods of time, spirulina, sea kelp, different types of sea algae for the benefits, the omegas, the protein, the micronutrients. But sea moss I haven't really tried, so I wanna see what that's about and like what it does. My body absorbs really well because of the way my habits are, nutrition wise. So it would be good for me to try. Yeah, I was just totally whole plant based for a year and change. I just got off of being totally whole plant based, and I just reintroduced. First, I started with fish, and then just recently eggs. So I take fish, eggs, and that's it. No dairy, no cheese, no poultry, no red meat, nothing. So it's interesting, I basically started the fish and eggs, because I knew I was going to get back into resistance, and I tend to go heavy. So I wanted to see how my protein would be uh, on complete complete whole plant based versus like pes pes avo pesca pescatarian avo, like that like I toggle back and forth to see how it works, you know. So yeah, I definitely see sensitivities and allergies to certain foods as well, and I'm constantly taking things out, reintroducing things, and seeing what works, what doesn't, and you know, you learn as you go. Yeah, same here. When it comes to like, and this is good subject matter, right? Because when we share information like this based on anecdotal experiences, then others get to either be inspired or learn at the same time, you know? Because I've done the same thing for like, because, you know, I didn't want to take Sensodyne. Oh, this is that park right here. I didn't want to take Sensodyne, you know, and I learned, you know, to reduce as much as possible fluoride, which helped. And then just kept Fluoride was the biggest one. And then I noticed like I could chew certain things and I wasn't having issues. So you have to experiment, and you have to be in tune to be able to understand what's what. And yeah, same here. I've tried black charcoal. I've experimented as well. I know my teeth could be a little whiter, but for the most part, when I reintroduced olive oil, I reintroduced coconut oil, but then I took it out because the fat was a little high. So then I stayed with olive oil. So it was almost like oil pulling, but just through eating it, just through consuming it, my teeth have actually gotten whiter, you know? So it was like a sense of oil pulling without actually swishing it, you know? So that was interesting. It worked. And my teeth have, you know, lessened in shades. So thankful for that. I'm gonna get braces again. I had braces when I was younger, but my teeth have shifted. So I'm gonna get braces again. I just have to know, should I get Invisalign or should I get traditional braces? And I'm gonna do it. So I can't wait for that. Yeah. I'm gonna see. The orthodontist I spoke with said I should use Invisalign, and that it would only take like 6 months or so because my teeth are pretty straight. So we'll see. You know, that costs like $7,000 for 6 months. I'm a big flosser too, you know. I'm definitely a flosser, and my teeth are very tight, so I have to floss. But $7,000 for that, you know. But yeah, so I feel you on that. Like I feel you on that. I'm definitely a flosser too. So that traditional thing, how do you even floss? Like, what do you have to use, one of those gadgets that shoot water? Like, how do you floss when you have traditional? I don't, that's crazy now that you brought that up, you know? Yeah, I floss a lot too. I even have floss in this vehicle right now as we speak. I always keep floss with me. So I feel you on that. Gotta have floss. Because if you eat something and you don't floss, like, that is gonna stink in your teeth. That's nasty. If you think about it, you know? It's crazy to even think, like, if you ate something and you didn't floss, like, okay, you didn't brush. That's one thing, right? Whatever. you could brush once or twice a day, but if you're not flossing, I don't know, like, I don't know. I just can't, I don't know. Yeah, mine don't either. You know, I've been flossing consistently for years now. And, you know, the same way I brush, I don't brush hard. I brush, you know, the way you're supposed to brush, in a circular motion. You know, you spend a decent amount of time in quadrants, and you do it lightly. And I use my offhand so that I force myself not to brush hard, you know, on the enamel. So, you know, because you gotta, these are just habits you have to get into a routine to practice until it becomes second nature, you know. So yeah, that's another thing, like that goes up there with like the flossing thing, you know. If you're not gonna brush, shoot, you better brush your tongue before you speak to me too closely. That's for sure. Yeah. You definitely have to. You definitely have to do that as well. But you know, sometimes people don't get that. Like the importance of what we're speaking about here is like, I can assure you this, right? In let's say a year from now, 2 years from now, because I just got into live streams recently. And with these live streams come more people, you know? And so a year ago, I had 100 subs, right? So, well, actually not a year ago. It was like 8 or 9 months ago, I had 100 subs. And in 8.5 months, I have over 1,000 subs now, right? So with more people, thank you, with more people come like you've seen earlier in this live, like people are quick to like go to jokes, you know? But it's not like, I don't know. It's like, would you meet a person in the street and you just got into a conversation with the person in the street and then just gig on them? Like, would you joke on them? You know, like, would you in a negatively tinged way, put them down? You just met the person randomly, and are you gonna put them down even though it's a joke? No, of course not. But like, where do you have the gall because you're behind a computer or a phone where you just want to come in and like have negative comments, you know? Yeah, of course. That's exactly what it is. So it's like how? Where do, like, why? You know? I wouldn't do that. Like, if I just came into someone's, you know, I wouldn't, like, especially if a person's live, I wouldn't do it in the comments regardless. But like, especially if the person's live and they're talking about something serious, like, where do you come off like, oh, let me just crack on this person, you know? It's weird, but it's like, it comes with the territory. So I understand. That's why I said the whole 100 to 1,000 thing. Not that it's a flex. I'm just saying, with more people come like more personalities. And again, people are free to do whatever they want. I'm not going to put any mods in here. I'm not going to restrict people. I'm not going to restrict comments. People can say whatever they want to say, and they're free to do so. But it's just so strange to me. Like, you would never do that, or you wouldn't. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't do that in person, you know? Because you would have some sort of apprehensive feeling in your gut to not do that, you know? It's just so odd to me. Like, let me just gig on this person that I don't know from a hole in the wall, and it's random, and let me just crack on them. It's strange. Yeah, like you're bold, but not in person. Like, if you want, I can literally bring you in. Like, let's have a talk. Let's chat about it. If you have something to say, let me bring you in and let's chat about it face to face, so all of us can see together. you know? We could do that. I feel you, you know? Yeah, I just feel like, I got off the net, Aubrey, myself, recently. Like, I got off everything because I had a gym. Well, I have a gym, and I was constantly promoting the gym for a long time, right? And I was on social media, Google, Snapchat, TikTok, Insta, Facebook, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? But now it's like I just stay here in YouTube land because I just have information. Put that up. That's kind of loud. I just have information. Again, you could just go back to the beginning of the stream, right? People are quick to say I'm on something, right? Until I got to the point. Yeah, I may not have gotten to the point as quickly as you wanted me to, right? Because I wanted to share the backdrop. There was stuff I wanted to speak about. So maybe 15 minutes in, 12 to 18 minutes in, I got to the point, right? And I have information I want to share. That's why I come here regularly to do so. And hopefully people get something out of it, you know? Oh, okay. Yeah. Facebook is definitely, it's interesting because I look at Facebook, because remember, I got off of everything, right? But when I look at Facebook, I look at it like it's so old school in a way, but it's like you have all these people that go on Facebook, from like older folks to actually maybe not the young ones, because they probably spend more time on like X, TikTok, Snapchat, other places. But Facebook is like, yeah, your grandfather will be there, but then like people who are like in their mid to late 20s to like their 30s and 40s will be there as well, and in abundance. So I'm just like, it's like, it is one of those things, but it's like people that come to YouTube generally come here to like learn things, to research things, to see what's going on with like the latest in something information wise, So that's why I'm here, because I do feel like I have information I want to share, and that's why I'm doing this, Other than that, if you look at the videos on this, my print is actually here in YouTube land. So they say anyways. Because I'm always, it's gray sweat season. So I'm here doing my pull-ups. Now if you want to be looking there, that's on you. But like, I'm not out here, in a thong. So I'm out here just dividing content between information I want to share, workout videos, and music that I share through videos as well, So if you go to shorts, you're probably gonna get a lot of like touring shorts, as well as like a good sprinkling of workout content. But if you go to the videos, you'll see I'm just sparring with bars and releasing songs. So everything will, in my opinion, continue to evolve and improve and show progression over time, but it just takes time, It takes resources. Artists, what do you want me to call Mr. Trump up? Is that what you is that exactly what you want me to do? Do you want me to call Mr. Trump up? Do you want me to try and get Mr. Trump on this live stream? Because he's probably up at this time. I just want to know exactly what you want me to do with Mr. Trump. The Don, if you will. I think that's who you're referring to. Yeah, TikTok is, you know, there's a culture, I think, that there are different subgenres of all different types of culture, you know, so it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not out here slanging for views. That's for sure. I'm out here just trying to inspire folks with workout videos. So that's what, because I think working out, especially as you get older, is very important. And that's why I got back into resistance for me personally, because I see a lot of benefits. Like I said, with the last live stream, an 850 score, this live stream right here is over an hour, you know? And I am tight because that 850 score live stream was 35 minutes and it only posted 4 minutes and change. And I swear to you, I went into depth breaking down androgen receptors and androgen sensitivity, not to mention total test. I went into female hormones and male hormones. I broke everything down. It is what it is, you know? It is what it is. But oh, that's cool, you know? Yeah, that's awesome. I gotta check your, you know, when I end this live stream, I gotta definitely check out your channel and see your stuff and listen to your stuff. I definitely will. And I will, because I got a mic on right now, I got a DJI mic. I will take the mic out and plug the car adapter in so I can hear it on the speakers. And yeah, I can't wait to listen, you know? So yeah, YouTube is, you know, that's why I'm here. Like, I'd rather stay here rather than just all over the place like I used to, because I was promoting the gym before, but now it's just like I stay here. This is where the information is at. Because if you go to X, it's so toxic there. I mean, I can respect that it's like less like restrictive, but with that territory of less restrictions come a very toxic environment. You think it's toxic out here with people just free with their comments, which they're free to do, but it's crazy in X land, you know? Yeah, I wish you the most success with your music endeavors, you know? Can't wait to hear how you blow those tubes of yours, you know? See what you're about. Yeah. I haven't really been on TikTok in a long time. You're welcome. So I don't even know. I don't even have the app on my home screen anymore. Like, I would have to re-download it, you know? So I don't even know. So yeah, I'm going to, as soon as I end this as soon as I end this live stream, I'm going to probably look at one of these scaffolds like usual. So I just started doing 100 squats and 100 air squats and 250 calf raises every day. And my legs are sore, but they feel good, you know? So the combination of doing that and the regular calisthenics that I do off these scaffolds and like some core work is feeling good. Plus, I started incorporating the resistance training in the gym. It's amazing. It's such a good feeling, you know. Oh yeah, yeah. You know, with me musically, I just do it to stay sharp, but there's still and that was a live stream I also, because we talk about information, right? That was a live stream I also put out called, it was something like the final boss or something like that. I don't remember. It was a picture of a Sony C800G microphone, and I was talking about the last two pieces for my vocal chain. So that mic and a, a console that I want to purchase, those are the last two pieces. Because whenever because I engineer myself, right? So whenever I am able to, I will get to some engineers that will additionally put work on my tracks and apply good de-essing, good mixing and mastering, and it will be amazing, you know? Yeah, I can't do that, artists, because the Don wants to stay. He actually might be trying to pull strings to finagle another 4 years, you know? So I don't think he's gonna want to leave early. In fact, I think he's gonna want to actually spend more time in office. Whether he finagles the system to do another 4 years, or he somehow becomes a vice president for another 4. I don't think he's gonna leave though. So he's definitely not gonna be down for that. Yeah. Reasons. I've used reason as well. That's another good one. Yeah, I used to do that. I used to do that and think the same way until I got into engineering myself. I started analog with the boards, and then someone taught me Pro Tools. This guy taught me Pro Tools. And from Pro Tools, I learned Logic. I messed around, like I said, with Acid, with Reasons, Ableton, Fruity Loops, all of them. So, yeah, I love analog as well. That's, like I said, that's how I started. It's like in investing, right? Like I started in the stock market and then I went to crypto, right? So in music, I started in analog and then I went to digital, you know? But the board I'm gonna get, the console, it's like this hybrid of analog and digital. So you can go back and forth between analog and digital, which is amazing. And I can't wait, you know? Yeah, Aubrey, you should. Crypto is definitely the wave. It's definitely where you should be. That's for sure. Who's the king in that? He ain't answering the phone. Oh, that's so. I was sorry to hear that. Like, damn, he's not answering anymore. Yeah, crypto is definitely. You know, I started crypto 5 years ago, right? And honestly, it took me. I would say it took me almost 5 years to really learn crypto. You know, it definitely took me over 3 and change to learn crypto. Oh, that sounds awesome. A half a mil would purchase. I guess you could get like an island somewhere, right? That could happen. I don't know where the like light ends or begins out here. Maybe I passed the line. I don't know. I'm one of those people, like, I see everyone here in the Bronx pass red lights and like almost no one cares. But like me, I still follow the laws. I follow the rules, especially publicly, right? I'm not gonna do it on camera, but I even if I was off camera, I don't do it. I follow all these laws. You know. But you know, if you were in gold 2 years ago, you're definitely up right now. But then again, if you were in Bitcoin 4 years ago, you'd be seriously up, you know? So, like I said, crypto took me like over 3 years to learn. If you just do your own research, DYOR, and you just continue to like do your research daily, you don't even need anyone, you know? I learned it. You could do the same. You just have to come here to YouTube land and really like study it day in and day out, you know? And damn, Artist is going in on the Dawn. Artist is going in on the Dawn. Like he's got it out on this live stream for the Dawn. The Dawn. But yeah, I also talk about crypto whenever I can, you know, but it's one of those things, Aubrey. It's like you don't want to push content too hard on anyone, because then it's almost like people take it like you're preaching to them, you know? And I don't ever want to come across as preachy. Even when, you know, I generally, because I talk about a lot of the same subject matter, which generally revolves around wildlife, fitness, and music, right? These are the things I fitness also incorporates like nutrition, wellness, health, etc., right? But I also tend to talk about finance as well, because these are the things that like all of us want, in a sense, right? Like we all want to be healthy, not be slaves to medication, and we pretty much, most of us want to be financially free, right? So these are the things I talk about, and a lot of us listen to music. So these are the things that, not because necessarily everyone else has to be a part of it, but these are the things that pertain to me and I like to talk about. So if others would be interested, I try and, you know, switch it up and talk about these things. But when it comes to crypto, like, I do think crypto has turned me out, you know? It really has. Because like I said, I started with stocks, and when I mean, don't get me wrong, stocks have been up for like the last 2 years. So you be up if, but then again, you would have had to know, you really had to know Nvidia was gonna do what it did. But if you would have stayed in like Tesla or like Microsoft, Apple, basically the tech stocks, you would have been good, you know? But crypto turned me out, you know? I can't go back now. Like I can't undo what I now know, you know, and it's so powerful. So it's one of those things. Like I can't unwind or rewind time now. So being turned out by crypto, like if I can give any advice, it's never too late, in my opinion. It's not ever too late. Start learning about crypto, you know? And then, you know, I do these lives pretty regularly. So anytime you want to leave a comment or you want to come in here, if you catch it, and you want to ask any question, feel free to. And, you know, Malabar Bays is the same everywhere. You know, might not be Malabar Bays is Seoul, but it's Malabar Bays because that's my name. So if you look anywhere, Malabar Bays is the same. Right? So I'm just letting you know that. Right? Even though I'm not really on social media, Malabar Bays is the same everywhere. I'm just putting that out there. So, artist is like, talk about the Don some more. Talk about the Don. You know, if you don't like someone, right? If you don't talk about them, then you don't give them attention. And if that person wants attention and you don't give it to them, then eventually they go away. Right? So the more attention you give someone you don't like, you're empowering them. So, yeah, this is ranking up there with one of like the longest live streams I've done in a while. I think I did one other one that was long as well, but yeah, I had a great time. I think I'm gonna leave it at that, Aubrey. It was a pleasure engaging with you, interacting with you, and like I said, I'm going to get ready to go to the gym in a few hours, but in the meantime, I'm probably gonna do some calisthenics, do my normal squats, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, I mean, when people have like conversations that are, you know, like they're of value, it's like, why would I want to talk? Why would I want to contribute to that? You know, let me jump out the window and, you know, mention something else, which people are free to as well. Yeah, listen, when I tell you, look, there is a reason this whole live stream was on the perspective of Phidippus Audax, right? It is branched out to other topics because I already finished that topic, right? I was talking about obviously the cats and the spider and all of that, right? But when I tell you I got turned out by crypto and I have been consistently on crypto for 5 years now, there is a reason for that. You get into crypto, I'm telling you, you get into crypto, it is like, in my humble opinion, the one way out, right? You are not gonna feel the Hamptons if you excel in crypto. In fact, you will contribute to the Hamptons. You should definitely get in, study, and rock this next bear market because it's coming soon, right? This cycle is gonna end soon. So if I were you, I would study as much as possible during this upcoming bear market. Get in, solidify your position little at a time, build a position, especially with Bitcoin, and anytime you can, ask questions. Remember, Malabar Bays is the same, and I appreciate the subscription, but I'm definitely gonna end on that. 80 minutes. We're almost at 80 minutes. That's an hour, almost an hour and a half. Wow. Thank you. Have a great one, and I will catch you all next time. And thank you for checking in. I gotta get to this workout. You already know. Yeah, definitely. It was a great one, and I thank you for the engagement. You too, artists. You know, you too. you keep having that orange peach live and well. But good night, yeah. Good night, and have a great one.